Hi again, 7th graders. You're going to see this slide right before you watch every video, just reminding you of all the resources you have to be successful in math. You can rewatch this video as many times as you'd like. You can read your book as often as you'd like, and you can listen to those personal tutors on that online textbook. So we're jumping into our day 2 of looking ahead. We're getting ready for 8th grade, and the concepts we are looking at as an 8th grade teacher, we definitely do, and they do not go away in 8th grade. So you really want to get a good head start while we do this. Remember, our looking ahead sections are in the way back of our book in between chapter 12 and the extra practice. Today's are on page looking ahead 6. So if you're following along there, as you should be, that is where we are. Obviously, we know adding is finding the sum. Yesterday, we learned polynomials. Polynomials are algebraic expressions that contain one or more monomial. So things that look like they have multiple different terms, x to the second power plus x to the first power plus a regular number. That is a monomial. Adding monomials. Today, I think, is just super similar to what we did in looking ahead 1, where we just simplified. Today, we're adding, so we're going to do a lot of, here's one polynomial, here's the second polynomial, and we're going to be adding those two together. So what I'm going to do is kind of the same thing I did last time. I'm going to go ahead and look for my like terms. So I have a 3x and a 2x. And I'm going to look for my other like terms, my 4 and my 1, and I'm going to combine those together. So this is really 3x plus 2x plus that 4 plus that 1. So if I combine my 2x and 3x, that's for a total of 5x. Combine my 4 and my 1 for a 5. So here I am adding those two polynomials at the top together to create one polynomial. Just below, number 2. Another strategy might be, well, if I'm going to add two numbers together, say I wanted to add 15 and 3, I usually line them up vertically and just add down. You can do the same thing with polynomials as long as you line up the correct terms, the ones that are alike. So here, if I have this, I'm trying to add 2x to the second power minus 4x plus 2. And I'm trying to add that to the polynomial of negative 2x plus 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line them up with their like terms. So I'm going to take this negative 2x and put it right below that negative 4x and that 2 below there. So I really just lined this up and moved it here. I do have to remember that I am adding, so I'm going to erase that. I'm adding these two polynomials together. So if you wanted a filler here, you could put in that 0x squared because there's no x squared in that other polynomial. But it still won't affect anything. So here I go with my 2 plus 2 is 4. And then my negative 4x plus my negative 2x is a negative 6x. 2x squared plus 0x squared is still just 2x squared. So I can do my vertical addition, which I'm really used to, and add the polynomials for 2x squared minus 6x plus 4. Hey, maybe you're ready to try A and B on your own. Maybe you want to pause the video. Maybe you want to follow along. Make your choice. I'm going to do them a couple different ways just to get used to. We can do vertically. We can do combining with the circling and squaring. So for this one, for A, maybe I want to line them up. I'm going to line these ones up, but what I notice is I'm missing, there's no regular just x value in here. So what I can do is that's like a plus 0x. There's no x's there, so that's 0x. 0 times any number is 0. So I want to line these ones up. I'm going to line up my 3x squared below my x squared, put my 0x below my 1x, and put my negative 4 below my negative 3. I'm adding these together. So a negative 3 plus a negative 4 is a negative 7. 1x plus 0x is still just 1x. 1x squared plus 3x squared is 4x squared. Since it's a positive, it's like I'm adding. See how nice that is? Just add straight down, as long as everything's lined up with its appropriate match. Looking over at B then, let's give this one a try. Maybe I want to line up B, maybe I just want to circle. I'm going to go with lining up again just because that's fairly new to us. So here I have, bring my negative x squared below its pair, bring my negative 3x below its pair, and I have no number, so I'm just going to put a plus 0 at the end. What I do need to remember is that this is like a negative 1. I need to remember that a number in front of a variable, if there's no number there, it's really just 1 of that variable. So here I am adding. 1 plus 0 is 1. Negative 1 plus a negative 3 is a negative 4, and that's with our variable of x. Negative 2x squared plus a negative 1x squared is 3 negative x squared. So there I am again, simplified. So it's going pretty well, I hope, for you. A lot of just combining, finding those things that match and putting them together. All right, number 3. I'm going to kind of switch back maybe to my combining like terms. I'm just going to do my circle and my squaring just to kind of change it up, give you some variety, give you some options for what you want to latch onto and do for yourself. So I'm going to find my like terms. I have a x squared, and I have another x squared over here, knowing that's 1x squared and another x squared. Also finding my numbers here. And I don't know, do those go before x squared or after? They're going to go after, but they also need to go after that negative 2x. So here I am with that negative 2x and that negative 3 plus 1. So I'm going to combine these like terms. 1x squared plus 1x squared is 2x squared. I'm going to do that add the opposite kind of deal so I don't forget. That's like a negative 2x. And a negative 3 plus 1 is a negative 2. Remember though, I don't need that add the opposite stuff. I can simplify this still to be 2x squared minus 2x minus 2. So this is a simplified version of adding these two polynomials that we started with. Hopefully you're kind of getting an idea of what you prefer for your strategy. Maybe it's the lining up vertically, maybe it's the circling and squaring. It is truly up to you, whatever works best. You just need to make sure you're taking the appropriate sign in front of the number and knowing if it's positive or negative. So for number 4, hey, I'm going to go back to lining them up vertically. So I'm going to take this one and line it right underneath here, since I see that I have x to the second and x to the first and a number. So I'm going to put those under. So I'm adding x to the second power minus x plus 4. So I'm going to add that to this one. Maybe I want to put my numbers in front of those variables that are missing it, those coefficients. Negative 1 plus 1 is a negative 1x squared. 3 plus a negative 1 is a positive 2, and that's to the x. And then I have 2 plus 4, which we know is 6. So I can leave that 1 in front, or I can leave it as negative x squared plus 2x plus 6. Simplified to there. Okay. All right. Lastly, and this goes into, again, our word problem, our thinking, and then I have a little bit of a challenge one at the bottom for you. So again, we're finding the perimeter. Again, perimeter we need to know is the sum of all sides. Sometimes we forget that if we see some words in a shape. So really, all I'm doing is adding all of the sides together. So again, I can write those out. I'll change colors for some fun. We have 2x minus 3 plus, I'm just going to go in a clockwise rotation here. I'm going to go that way. 2x plus x plus 5. So here I'm going to find my like terms again. Maybe you want to separate the sides by your parentheses just so you could tell that you did everything correctly. I'm going to find my like terms. I'm going to go for my x values first because I see I don't have anything to more than the power of 1. So this is my highest power, so it's going to be furthest on the left. 2x and 2x and a 1x. So I have 2x plus 2x plus x. And then I have my negative 3 and a positive 5. Ignore that one at the bottom for now, if you would, please. So, combine my like terms. I have 2x, 2x, and x. 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 5x. Negative 3 plus a positive 5 is a positive 2. That is the perimeter, then, of that shape if we knew the value of x. All right, we got a little bit of challenge for you on the bottom. Maybe take a minute, pause me, maybe think about it, and then come back and see if you knew what you were doing. So it says find the product of negative 2 and 5x squared plus 6x minus 4. First, I need to know what product means. I do know that product is answer to a multiplication problem. So I'm multiplying this negative 2 times this 5x squared plus 6x minus 4. What I know about multiplying a polynomial and something in the parentheses and something on the outside is that I'm going to use my distributive property. Distributive meaning I'm going to hand out that negative 2 to everything inside that parentheses. So what this looks like then is really a negative 2 times 5x squared plus that negative 2 times that 6x plus that negative 2 times that negative 4. Usually I don't write it out like that, but for visually I want you guys to see that that is what this is like. So I know a negative times a positive is a negative 10x squared, plus that negative times that positive is a negative again, and this negative times a negative is actually a positive. So maybe I want to rewrite this out, getting rid of that, add the opposite. So this is the same as negative 10x squared minus 12x plus 8. If you got this challenge, good for you. You are going to be in good shape for the lesson the next day. Again, remember, do what you need to do to make sure your understanding is in tip-top shape for you tomorrow. And make sure you come with questions. Make sure you come with notes. We'll see you then.